I would love to be able to promise you that there's no zombies down here in the secret tunnels hidden beneath Linköping University Hospital, but, I prefer not to make promises that I can't keep, so don't wander down here alone. Hello, my weird and wonderful human beings, and yes, I got a haircut. My dear friend Irma actually cut it for me in preparation for back to school, so I would look styling on my first day back. And while she had me in the chair, we talked about all things grad school, research, science, being a woman in STEM, and everything that goes along with that. I can feel it. There's so much hair! There's so much hair! So if you want to see Irma chop all my hair off, make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe and click the little bell icon so that you get notified when that video goes live. But speaking of back to school, I know in a lot of the world that many of us have been back to school for a little while now, but here in Linköping, my first day back is Monday. Now, before we get into this, mind that I started grad school at the height of the pandemic. Like, lockdowns, distance mode, things closing and shutting and opening and closing again, the whole nine. So your grad school experience might differ significantly from my own. But if you're starting here in Linköping, there's a few things you need to know. Number 1, your LiU card is your life. You will need this for everything. Checking out books from the library, printing from communal printers, accessing the buildings that your classes are in. Your LiU card is your all-access pass to Linköping University. And without it, you can't get in. Literally. This student ID card has no name, no photo, no identifying features of any kind, and yet, if you lose it...
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm! Wait. Everybody
So rule number 1 for dealing with your LiU card, don't lose it. And rule number 2 is don't screw up rule number 1. Rule 3 is that if you do have any problems with your LiU card, if it's not opening doors, if you have a wrong PIN code, or you have any problems at all, go immediately to the help desk and sort it out now. Not later, not tomorrow. Now. The good news about the LiU help desk is that there is one on each campus, which I will get to in a moment, and the people there are helpful, friendly, and most importantly for us international students, pretty much speak perfect English. So go, get your LiU card, get yourself situated, and don't lose it. Number 2, there are 2 LiU campuses in Linköping. There are actually more campuses than that, including one in Norrköping and one on an island in Stockholm that only makes furniture, but you don't need to worry about them. The 2 LiU campuses that you need to worry about are Campus Valla and University Sjukhus, the hospital, also known as Campus US. Campus Valla is a sprawling university camp on the edge of the city next to university housing with ample facilities like lecture halls, labs, dining areas, gyms, libraries, and plenty of study space. Designed as a university campus, Valla is well laid out and clearly organized. Campus US is not. What you need to remember is that the University Hospital campus was designed as a hospital, meaning that long, winding, narrow corridors and smaller rooms are the design picture for the US campus. The hospital exists across both sides of a major road, which is connected through a series of subterranean passages. This does make it easier to get from one side to the other in the wintertime when the roads are covered in snow and just generally not fun to be on. The classrooms and lecture halls that were eventually added to the University Hospital campus are mostly in the same general area, and I've been reliably informed, are very clearly organized into easy-to-follow categories. Assuming you speak fluent Swedish. Rooms are named after trees, rocks, mushrooms, herbs, flowers, and I'm probably forgetting birds. There's also birds. And then they're clustered together according to these groups, which again Makes sense if you happen to know that this is a type of bird. If you don't know that information, you're going to spend the next 30 minutes wandering hopelessly in a maze of hospital hallways trying to figure out where you are. My advice? Find a Swede, make them your official best friend, and never leave them. Number 3. Lisam is unnavigable. Lisam is the university's website. It's the mainframe that we use to find our classes, go to classes, get our lecture notes from, participate in Zoom calls, submit our assignments, and it is utterly and completely unnavigable internally. There is no clear way to search for something on Lisam in a way that makes sense. It barely works in Swedish, and it definitely doesn't work in English. This is really frustrating when you're trying to find something that your teacher has very helpfully told you is on Lisam. Where? Also, when you register for classes, you have to register in like 3 different places. You need to register through universityadmissions.se, which is where you find the classes, and then through LiU, which is where you confirm your registration, and then through Lisam to make sure that you're actually in the class.
Why?
The point of the matter is that the Lisam website is internally unnavigable. But that doesn't mean it's unnavigable. Your teachers are right. The information is on Lisam. The trick is just finding it. And trying to operate within the website itself is just going to frustrate you and lead you to tears, especially if you are not a native Swedish speaker. Best tip? Google it. Google what you're looking for and the word Lisam, and the Google overlords will take you to exactly where you need to be. Forget about trying to navigate within the website itself, save yourself the tears, and Google it. Number 4, you can take other classes. This is something that a lot of your advisors and instructors might mention at some point, but it really bears repeating because a lot of students are unaware of exactly how far that can go. You can take classes outside of your program. You can take classes outside of your major. You can take classes outside of your level. If you're in the master's program and you want to take a class in epigenetics, but it's at the bachelor's level, you can do that. If you're in the bachelor's for English literature and you want to take a class on computer programming, you can do that. Certain classes may not count for your degree, but if it's even remotely related, you can argue that it's valid and probably get it included. This is something that they mentioned when we started, but it's something that most of my peers and I severely underestimated as a resource. You're handed a list of courses and told that these are the ones that you can take. And oh yeah, you can take some others if you feel like it. But what they fail to mention is just how broad that other courses category can be. My first few semesters at Linköping University, I only took the approved electives within the biomedical sciences program. This semester, I'm taking Swedish for beginners, advanced programming in R, computational statistics, oh yeah, and immunology. Only one of those classes is actually within my program. But all of them are going to count towards my major because I can argue that they are valid to my field. You can take classes outside of your program, you can take classes outside of your level, you can even take classes outside of LiU. If there's an area or a field that you want to explore, do it. Look at what classes are out there, not just at LiU, not just within your program. Look at what classes there are, period. And explore your options. Because there's a lot more out there than you might imagine. Number 5. Be your own advocate. This doesn't just go for LiU. This goes for grad school, and life. As we enter into grad school, it is very easy for us to look for someone to tell us what to do. It's the same reason why I chose the approved courses for my program rather than looking further afield at first. We want things to be easy, we want them to be simple. But the fact is that as is true in life and is so true in science, the simplest answer is usually the wrong one. Stick up for yourself. Pursue fields that interest you. Argue to get courses included that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before. Be persistent when pursuing a research project. Going into science is almost like being an entrepreneur. You have to stick up for yourself and be vocal about what you want. And if you feel like you aren't being listened to, you absolutely need to pursue that and politely but respectfully insist. Get the courses that you want. Talk to the advisor that you need to talk to. Get the research project that you wanted. Go out there. Be your own advocate and stick up for yourself the way you would stick up for someone else. There is a lot more that I could tell you about LiU and grad school in general, so if you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, but if there's enough and I can't get to them all, maybe I'll do a Q&A video sometime soon. Now, if you don't mind, I have to go study for an exam and also fill out the paperwork for my new research project. Oh, and I need to figure out the schedule that I've got for my classes. Oh. Yay, back to school! So, fingers crossed, and here's hoping that I will see you in person on campus at Linköping University this fall. Hej då! Oh, also, sometimes it smells like cow poo. Like, Linköping's not like a city, it's like a sort of city. The whole place is surrounded by farms. So every now and then they lay manure, and then the wind just shifts. And it smells like poop. You get used to it.